You're watching America Trends. I'm Mary Burt-Godwin, and I love having my next guest on the show. You know, the vitamin and supplement industry generates over $36.6 billion a year. And our next guest is in the health industry, fitness and health industry. And she's talked about supplements a little bit, but I brought her back to talk about this because it's a big money generating industry. And I have a lot of questions about it. So Christine Hronec, fitness trainer and influencer, welcome back to the show.
Hi. How are you doing today? Thanks for having me.
I'm so happy to see you again. You know, before this, we were talking to Mike Costa, who's our sports announcer, and we were talking about all the sports and NFL. It made me wonder, were you an athlete ever?
I did track and cross country.
Okay, cool. So do you still run actively, or runner?
Not as much because of my knees. I do weight train regularly. I do rely on walking as my primary form of cardio, but with the knees, I have to take it easy.
Absolutely. You know, I just had another woman on the show the other day, and we actually knew each other years ago, and we were training for a half marathon years ago. And that was went back in my 30s, and my knees weren't hurting as bad. And now it definitely is hard on the knees. So walking is, you say, just as good of exercise, yeah?
Absolutely. Even through all of my fitness competitions, I've done several bikini competitions, even on the national level. And walking, it has been my primary form of cardio. A lot of people think you need to be doing HIIT. And while that's great to burn a lot of calories in a short amount of time, it's not necessary for fat loss.
Do you do the full arm and like the lean forward when you fast power walk?
Well, I tend to pump the arms when I'm on an incline on the treadmill, but I go at a pace that makes sense. Sometimes I'm only going like 3.5 miles per hour on an incline, so it's not that fast. It's just about making sure that you're doing the right amount that you need for your goals.
And I've always heard this about a treadmill, that if you are walking or running, specifically running on a treadmill, though, you always want to do at least a 1.0 incline, because zero is almost going downhill.
Yeah, absolutely. That is 100% true. I always try to do a minimum of even just half of a percent. A 1% is good because especially it doesn't account for all of like the resistance factors that you would find outdoors, the undulations in the terrain, as well as wind resistance. So that is sound advice.
Okay, so I want to get you to start talk about vitamins and supplements, because we kind of touched on it last time you were on the show, and it made me think I need to have her back, because this could be a whole hour-long show, I feel like, because
Yeah.
there's so much I don't know, and I do hear a lot about them, and like I was saying, it's a $36.3 billion industry. And I was reading, you know, the FDA regulates this industry but doesn't necessarily approve these products. And I was interested in that concept. You know, a lot of them, are any of them approved, vitamins and supplements, or are they all just regulated? And what's the difference?
So the reality is dietary supplements do not require pre-market approval by the FDA in order for you to sell them and market them. And the things that you can, sell and market are considered GRAS, which is an acronym for generally regarded as safe. So if the ingredients fall under that category, generally regarded as safe, they do not require pre-market approval. Now, drugs, on the other hand, sunscreens, on the other hand, anything that's going to have an impact and change in the body will definitely require pre-market approval. It will require studies, a much longer lead time to bring to market. But vitamins and supplements fall under that GRAS, generally regarded as safe category, and therefore do not require pre-market approval.
So, I mean, how does somebody know if they go to the grocery store, or, you know, let's say I'm in Sprouts, and I kind of just assume that if it's in Sprouts, whatever is on their shelf is going to be okay for me. And I don't know if that's a fair assumption or not.
Unfortunately, it's not a fair
I
assumption. I
was
hate to
afraid you
say
were going
that.
to say that,
It-
which is why I have you here today. Yes.
Yeah, it's not a fair assumption, and the reality is, being in the dietary supplement manufacturing industry, the FDA isn't going to regulate every batch and every lot of every single product, nor do the people who have their products manufactured by a third party, do they necessarily test every single lot. So what you really want to do, if you really want to be certain that your product is 100% safe, is you want to ask the brand itself for something called a COA, a certificate of analysis, and they can provide you that information, which provides third-party lab testing. Any reputable brand should be able to generate that like this. If they can't, or they look at you sideways, there's a problem.
And can that information be found on their website? Or where would you go?
Yeah, you could contact the company. Some of them put it on the website, but you have to remember a certificate of analysis that's going to be valid for one lot of one batch. So the folks taking care of the production and making sure that things are organized should have that readily available on record. So it wouldn't really make sense to put it on the website. They can, but that's only valid for the specific lot that it came from.
Now that you're saying that, I remember seeing, on some of the protein powders I've purchased or collagen powders, I do see lot, the stamp that says lot on it. So that I have never paid attention to it, but that's something, as a user though, let's say, or as a shopper and someone that's interested in it, I'm hearing we can probably go into specifically collagen because I'm hearing a lot about that these days. And I don't know, I know we go through fads, right, of things that are good for us. And right now I'm hearing a lot about collagen. So let's talk about though, just in general, what would I look for at Sprouts if I don't readily have, their email or something to go call them, but I just want to get something right now?
Yeah. If you want to get something right now, the first thing you want to do is you want to look at the ingredient panel. You want to look at what it says on the label. You want to look at the numbers. You want to look at the total calories, the protein, carbs, and fat. And right away, you can spot bogus products if the numbers don't add up. That may sound really bizarre, but I see it early. I see it often. So protein, carbs, and fat. Protein and carbs both have 4 calories per gram. Fat is 9 calories per gram. You do that math and it doesn't add up to the total calories or something looks fishy with that, it's a very big red flag that there's a problem. Another thing is if the supplement grams don't add up. So for example, if you have a dietary supplement that says it's 30 grams per serving, so 30-gram serving size, and then it starts listing all of the ingredients in it. Okay, there's 18 grams of protein, 2 grams of carbs, 1 gram of fat. Okay, so that is 21 grams. Where are the remaining 9 grams in my serving? So that's one of the biggest things I look at right away, because if it doesn't add up, even this thing that you have up on here, that's a really, really big thing. I think another thing is you have to know what you're looking for. So to be an educated consumer, you want to look for things that are what you want them to be. So specifically, let's say you're buying a protein supplement, you're buying some collagen. Make sure that that product is mostly, if not all, collagen. You don't need all the added ingredients to that because it's actually cutting the product back and reducing the percent protein, because you can buy fillers and additives. You can take care of that on your own, but what you can't do is get that high level of purity of the product. And digging a little bit deeper and making sure that the products you're buying isn't just a fancy multi-level marketing type experience versus a true quality supplement, because there's genius marketers everywhere. It does not necessarily mean that it's a quality product. I could think of 2 major examples of that. One is, what is it? Is it Herbalife or the other one? Shakeology. And this is not to rip that brand, but if you look at the serving size and you look at the number of grams of protein per serving, we're talking about 40-50% protein. And that 2-pounder is well over $100 for, a product that's less than half of its protein, the rest of its carbohydrates. And as an educated consumer, I would be like, why am I spending half of this on carbs? That you really want to invest in the protein. You can add carbs to anything. Again, I'm not trying to rip that brand or that company. I don't mean it that way. I just mean it from the principle of looking at the percentage of protein in a product, because that's very, very important. And that's a clever marketing trick that they dupe people with early, and they do it often.
So, gosh, so many questions on this. What about when you're looking at something and it's got a flavor to it? It's got a vanilla flavor. Is that something to steer away from?
Not necessarily. I don't think anything is wrong with flavors. I prefer to keep things on the more natural side. It's a personal preference, specifically because one of the most popular sweeteners out there is called sucralose. And it's an engineered sugar. It is 600 times the sweetness of sugar. It is calorie free. But what happens with this sweetener is it is a sucrose, a sugar molecule, but it actually has chlorine atoms bound to it. So that way, when it passes through your intestines, your body actually recognizes it as a poison and decides, we're going to excrete it because we don't want that poison. That's why the calories don't count.
Oh, okay. We
Yeah.
got to take a quick break. That was a really good tip, and I have so many more questions. So everyone stick around. We've got more with Christine Hronec right after this.
Ain't no lot to see. All those plans I made for myself, I got nobody else to lean on.
Welcome to everyone joining us to experience stories of resilience, hope, perseverance, and joy.
Move over to a sport chair, basketball wheelchair.
Category of Best Video are...
We love you guys.
You're watching America Trends. I'm Mary Burt-Godwin, and we are talking to fitness expert Christine Hronec. We are talking about vitamins and supplements, and right before the break, Christine, you were talking about something that was a sugar supplement or substitute. What was the name of it again?
Yeah, I was talking about sucralose, which is the name of the ingredient that is commonly known as Splenda. And we were talking about artificial ingredients, and the reason why I personally choose to steer away from artificial sweeteners is because that sucralose is actually a sucrose molecule with chlorine atoms bound to it, and that causes your body to recognize it as a toxin. And that is the reason why it is calorie free, because your body will not digest it and it passes right through the small intestines.
Oh, wow. Well, that's something I definitely am learning today. So thank you for that. And, you know, if we are, so going back to me being a regular Jane on the street, and I'm like, oh, I want a supplement because I saw Christine talking about supplements and I want to go get one. Should I talk to a doctor or a specific nutritionist first?
I think that talking to a nutritionist is probably going to make a little bit more sense, just because doctors are more educated in prescribing medicines. They're not really looking to solve problems with real whole foods. And, you know, dietary supplements are ways to help you augment the gap between what you achieve in your diet with food and what's missing. So not that a doctor can't be helpful, and there are some that do like to help people heal the body through food, but the majority are primarily going to help you heal the body through medicine.
And, you know, can I ask a really basic question? The difference between a vitamin and a supplement would be vitamins are pills that I swallow or gummies, and then supplements are in a powder form, or what's the difference there?
So a vitamin is something that your body needs on a regular basis. It's part of, you know, things that, like, a vitamin technically by definition is a vital amine. So there's vitamin A, B, C, D, E, and multiple variants of that. So vitamins are very specific micronutrients your body needs. A supplement is something that you are supplementing your body with that you can't obtain with real whole food alone. So maybe you're not getting enough protein, maybe you're not getting the right amount of omega-3 fatty acids, maybe you're not getting the right amount of certain elements that you need from your diet. So a supplement, think of the word to supplement, is to make sure that you're closing any gaps of your dietary needs.
Okay, and I mean, I definitely hear though that I hear a lot of people talking about this that are in the health industry, and it's an important factor. Would you say that in someone that's trying to get fit and not necessarily in bikini shape, but just, you know, healthy, especially someone who's aging and, wants to make sure that I'm doing that gracefully and doing, living a healthy life, do you definitely think it's something that people should be looking into?
So as a supplement company owner and previous manufacturer, you would think I would tell you, yes, go get supplements. But the reality is it's a personal choice. I think that supplements are a convenient, economical way to get your nutrients, but you can get what you need through real whole food if you want to be a purist. You can do that. You don't necessarily need a protein supplement. It's going to be more economical. It's going to be simpler way to get, let's say you need to get 130 grams of protein in a day, that's going to be a lot of chicken. That's going to be a lot of eggs. That's going to be a lot of fish. And it's a simpler, more practical way in my professional opinion. But I will tell you, you don't have to do it.
Okay, and what about starting the day? I've heard in the mornings, get a good workout in and then have a protein shake. Is that something that you recommend?
I do highly recommend getting a protein shake after a weight training session. It is essential because when you weight train, what you're doing is the resistance training is breaking up the muscle fibers, and your muscles actually grow during the repair process. When you're resting, when you're actually sleeping, that's when most muscle growth occurs, because these torn muscle fibers, think of like a rope that's been shredded apart. Well, those fibrils that have been torn apart are going to be molded back together by the supplementation of protein, which is going to help them grow, help them heal, and make them bigger. So when you work out, you're actually shredding your muscles apart. That's not when they're growing. That's when they're being ripped, literally ripped.
Yeah.
They grow when you heal them and nourish them. So absolutely don't weight train without a post-workout shake.
So specifically weight training, not necessarily a long run / walk or a yoga class. You don't necessarily need a protein shake.
Not necessarily. It's nice to have, but it's not essential.
Okay, and then if you help people with this one-on-one, correct? You consult with people and take them on as clients. And so where is a place that you can direct people to? Obviously, we want people to sign up with you to have you help them. But is there a place on your website where you list out some things and tips for people?
Absolutely. So you guys can check out my website at gagegirltraining.com. If you guys want more detailed information about your specific situation, check out my YouTube channel, Gage Girl Training on YouTube. I have well over 800 videos on my YouTube channel, been at it there for a decade. But if you want to chat with me directly, go to my Instagram page, send me a DM, and we can chat in the DMs.
And do you take on people that might be having a big birthday coming up in like 6 months? And, I'm like, maybe I need to take you on for the next 6 months and get in my big birthday shape.
I would love to help you. And birthdays are a fantastic milestone to focus on your health. I think there's nothing like a birthday to focus you, to motivate you, and really help you, define how you want to live your life and define the life quality that you want to have for the foreseeable future.
Okay, well, you always inspire me, and and it's funny because the other day I was eating some chips, maybe, and I thought, Christine would want me to be eating a pickle right now. So one of these days I'll trade the chips in for the pickles. But I'm definitely going to reach out to you to have you help me and have you come back on the show, because I love picking your brain about this stuff, and you're so informed and educated. I love it. So tell us again where we can find you, Gage Girl.
Yes, you guys can find me at gagegirltraining.com. You can also visit my supplement site, gagelife.com. You guys can save $10 off with code GL10.
GL10. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us. And everyone at home, thank you so much for watching America Trends. We're here every night, Monday through Friday at 10 p.m. So have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.